Top stories tonight in Y News. President Ferdinand Marcos Jr. says the killing of Negros Oriental Governor Roel Degamo is entirely unacceptable, adding that the suspects cannot go unpunished. The BIP hydrographer Ventura, the ship of the National Mapping and Resources Information Authority, identifies the possible location of the sunken oil tanker MT Princess Empress. Transport groups hold protest caravan and halt public utility vehicle operations, particularly in Metro Manila, on the first day of the nationwide transport strike. And China announces plan to increase 2023 military budget to $224 billion. Good evening, Philippines and the world. Today is Monday, the 6th of March, 2023. Join us in the next hour as we deliver today's top stories around the Philippines and in other parts of the world. We are also seen in 1,935 satellite monitoring centers nationwide and via live streaming worldwide through the UNTV News and Rescue social media channels. I am William Theo. First in the news. President Ferdinand Marcos Jr. branded the killing of Negros Oriental Governor Roel Degamo as unacceptable and terrifying and vowed that the suspects will not go unpunished. Nel Maribohok reports.
President Ferdinand Marcos Jr. said the killing of Negros Oriental Governor Roel Degamo is entirely unacceptable, adding that the suspects cannot go unpunished.
The killing of Governor Degamo is entirely unacceptable, and it will not stand. This cannot go unpunished.
The president gave the statement after he was asked for a reaction on the murder of his ally, Governor Degamo, last week. PBBM said the slaying of the Negros Oriental official was shocking and the case does not belong in the society.
It was shocking. I couldn't believe that this would still happen. Pinasok ba naman yung sarili niyang bahay? At saka when you see the video, talagang lahat, basta naharap sa kanila, babarilin nila. Ilan ang pinatay nila, walang kinalaman dun sa kanilang gulo ko nilang away.
President Marcos Jr. described Degamo's killing as particularly terrifying and purely political. He said he instructed Department of the Interior and Local Government Secretary Benhur Abalos to determine the areas that can be considered as hotspots, similar to what is done during the election season.
Actually, ang sinabi ko sa ating Secretary Abalos and the PNP is to now make an examination, kagaya yung ating ginagawa kapag darating ang eleksyon kung saan ang hotspot. Sabi ko gawin nyo ulit ngayon bago, don't think of the election first, but think kung ano yung mga hotspot na mainit na mga lugar at tignan natin.
The chief executive said the government is ready to provide protection for local officials who think that they may also be assassination targets. Nel Maribohok, UNTV News and Rescue. We serve the people, we give glory to God.
The Philippine National Police arrested the fifth suspect in the killing of Negros Oriental Governor Roel Degamo. PNP Chief Police General Rodolfo Azurin Jr. said the arrested suspect was also identified as former member of the Philippine Army. Leia Ilagan will tell us why.
The members of the Philippine National Police and the Philippine Army continue the hot pursuit operations against 5 more suspects in the killing of Negros Oriental Governor Roel Degamo. PNP Chief Police General Rodolfo Azurin Jr. said the first 3 suspects were arrested hours after the Saturday attack at the governor's residential place in Pamplona, Negros Oriental. The suspects identified as Goric Labrador from Cagayan de Oro City, Joven Aber from La Castellana, Negros Occidental, and Benji Rodriguez from Misamis Occidental. All of the three suspects were former army soldiers, while the fourth suspect who was killed in the hot pursuit operations was still unidentified. The fifth suspect was identified as Osmundo Rivero from Bayawan City and also a former member of the Philippine Army.
May mga lead tayo pertaining to the mastermind which today we cannot yet disclose because ongoing yung follow-up natin, yung hot pursuit natin in locating the other suspects, which we believe they are still there.
Before the killing of Governor Degamo, the PNP earlier recorded the ambush against 4 local chief executives. February 17, when Lanao del Sur Governor Mamintal Adjong Jr. was ambushed in Maging, 3 of his police escorts and driver were killed. After 2 days, February 19, the group of Apari Cagayan Vice Mayor Romel Alameda were also ambushed in Balabag, Nueva Vizcaya. Vice Mayor Alameda and 5 others were killed. On February 22, Dato Montawal, Maguindanao del Sur, Mayor Otto Montawal was ambushed in Pasay. February 26, when San Carlos Lipa City Chairman Bevencio Paulo was killed after being shot. And on March 4, Governor Ruel Degamo was killed when 10 suspects entered his house and fired a gun. On the said incident, 9 were killed, 13 were critically injured, and 4 sustained minor injuries. The PNP is now determining the mastermind behind the killings.
Definitely, these things must stop. Sabi nga natin is, kahit sino pa siya, for as long as the evidences would lead to him, we will pursue the case till the end. So, yan yung stand ng liderato ng PNP.
Despite of the series of attacks against local chief executives, General Azurin said it does not reflect the peace and order situation in the Philippines. Leia Ilagan, UNTV, News and Rescue. We serve the people, we give glory to God.
2 of the arrested suspects in the killing of Governor Ruel Degamo and some other civilians may land in the Witness Protection Program. Dante Amento tells us why.
Department of Justice or DOJ spokesperson Assistant Secretary Miko Clavano said they referred 2 of the suspects in the killing of Negros Oriental Governor Ruel Degamo and 8 civilians to the DOJ's Witness Protection Program or WPP. Clavano explained this is for their safety.
Ay tinitignan po ng DOJ kung pwede silang ipapasok sa Witness Protection Program dahil po kailangan po muna nating evaluate yung mga statements ko nila. Cooperative naman po itong dalawang to and they feel that they are more protected dito sa Witness Protection Program.
The DOJ added that they also coordinated with the Department of the Interior and Local Government or DILG and the Philippine National Police or PNP to transfer the suspects to Metro Manila also for their protection.
We are working closely with the PNP and the DILG for the transfer of the respondents who are currently detained to the NCR for protective custody.
Meanwhile, the suspects were already charged before the prosecutor's office in Negros Oriental.
As of March 6, sinampaham na po ng kasong multiple murder sa Provincial Prosecutor's Office ng Dumaguete City, Negros ang 3 sa mga suspects sa pagpatay kay Governor Degamo.
DILG Secretary Benhur Abalos Jr. said they are evaluating all angles of the motive of the crime including politics. Abalos also assures that the mastermind of the crime will soon be arrested.
Ongoing pa rin ang ating investigation dito. Inaalam natin lahat ng anggulo. Pero ina-assure namin, mahuhuli talaga natin itong mastermind na ito. Napaka-importante.
Dante Amento, UNTV, News and Rescue. We serve the people. We give glory to God.
Some transport groups held protest caravan and halted public utility vehicle operations, particularly in Metro Manila today. They plan to continue the transport strike tomorrow, but not the protest rallies. Asher Kadapan Jr. explains why.
Transport groups Manibela and Piston, among others, called to stop phasing out public utility vehicles, especially traditional jeepneys. But until a significant action is taken by the government, they will continue with a week-long transport strike they held starting today. Manibela President Marvel Buena emphasizes this as they express determination in making the authorities realize the absence of their service should they implement the PUV modernization program and its corresponding deadlines.
Tuloy-tuloy po ito hanggat hindi po tayo napapakinggan nating gobyerno. Ganito pa rin po, pero wala ng programa, tigil pasada na lang po talaga.
The Land Transportation Franchising and Regulatory Board, however, assures the public that they have contingency measures in place should the PUV strike continue. LTFRB Chairperson Assistant Secretary Teofilo Guadis III also warns PUV operators and drivers who will participate in such activity.
May paraan po kami para malaman kung sino po yung mga jeepney na yon na sumama sa tigil pasada. And we will be filing the appropriate administrative charges po doon sa mga nag-abandona sa kanilang mga ruta at sumama dito sa tigil pasada.
Despite the issues, the LTFRB says they are open to discussing with the transport groups to arrive at a better solution. Asher Kadapan Jr., UNTV News and Rescue. We serve the people, we give glory to God.
Meanwhile, the Metropolitan Manila Development Authority, or MMDA, deployed only 5% of free ride vehicles during the first day of the nationwide transport strike. JP Nunez tells us why.
The Metropolitan Manila Development Authority, or MMDA, and the Interagency Task Force who monitored the first day of the transport strike remarked that it has minimal effect than expected. According to MMDA, of more than 1,600 vehicles prepared for free rides from Metro Manila LGUs and other government agencies, only 5% were deployed, or 88 vehicles earlier this morning during the protest.
Ang na-utilize lang po natin ay 88, meaning to say 5% lang po ng ating asset ang na-utilize natin for this transport strike.
However, the MMDA will preposition the same number of free ride vehicles as transport groups decided to continue a week-long transport strike.
Kung palalawigin nila ng isang linggo talaga itong protesta, nakahanda naman po yung pamahalaan na tumugon sa pangangailangan ng ating commuters at kami po ay magpapatuloy na magbigay ng libreng sakay.
Meanwhile, the MMDA decided to lift the suspension of the number coding scheme starting tomorrow. This is despite the continuation of the transport strike. MMDA Acting Chairman Romando Arte said there was a buildup of traffic in Metro Manila due to the suspension of the number coding scheme today. About 20% increase in traffic volume was reported.
Medyo sumikip po yung daloy ng traffic. Iyon din po yung dahilan siguro kung bakit medyo mabagal yung turnaround time ng ating mga pampublikong transportasyon. Kaya po ang pamunuan po ng MMDA ay nag-decide na hindi na po palawakin yung number coding scheme suspension. Ang ating pong coding ay meron na uli po bukas.
JP Nunez, UNTV, News and Rescue. We serve the people, we give glory to God.
Some passengers decide to work from home as alternative mode to avoid hassle during Commonwealth Avenue amid the first day of the nationwide transport strike. Meanwhile, the Quezon City local government unit provided assistance to public through Libreng Sakay program. Bernadette Tinoy will tell us why.
Andrea Gay later works at home as an improvement and construction materials marketing associate. She's been riding every day in different types of public transportation on Commonwealth Avenue to go to work. With the implementation of the nationwide transport strike today, March 6, Andrea went to street as early as possible to avail public utility vehicle. However, she got frustrated after meeting a volume of other passengers on the highway. Given the circumstances, Andrea went back home to work from home instead as an alternative mode.
Nagtry ako na sumakay ng jeep para pumasok sa work. Kung meron mang dumadaang bus, sobrang puno and hindi rin siya dadaan sa work ko. Kaya napagdesisyonan ko na lang na umuwi sa bahay at magpaalam na mag-work from home dahil sayang din naman kung a-absent ako or malilate.
Other passengers prepare as early as 5 a.m. and wait in front of Philippine Coconut Authority or PhilCoA to avoid rush hour.
May gagawin lang naman kami sa Libis. So ayun nga, may strike kaya kailangan naming maaga.
Ang gagawin ko, doon muna ako titira sa nanay ko, 1 linggo, para di ako mahirapan mag-commute.
Andrea, Jane, and J. Lord, local government unit, has implemented their Libreng Sakay program to ease the pain of passengers in the city. According to Quezon City Mayor Joy Belmonte, even though other jeepney drivers did not participate in the transport strike, their local government will provide assistance to serve the public. Bernadette Tino, UNTV News and Rescue. We serve the people, we give glory to God.
Commuters in the city of Manila have not felt the significant effect of the nationwide transport strike, which began today, March 6. The local government has prepared contingency measures by giving libreng sakay or a free ride for the riding public. The free services are from 5 o'clock in the morning to 10 a.m. and again from 4 o'clock in the afternoon until 10 in the evening. There are also several public utility jeepneys that did not join in the transport strike.
For as long as meron po tayong jeepney strike. So, ang sabi po nila, 1 linggo daw po. So, 1 linggo din po itong ang libreng sakay natin. Hindi naman.
Dahil marami naman po kami bumiyahe.
Marami namang masasakyan.
Wala naman po. Normal lang po. Normal lang.
And foreign news abroad. China set an economic growth and military spending goal for 2023 during the opening of the 4th National People's Congress held on March 5. Ruth Bahe will give us the details live. Good evening, Ruth.
Good evening, Elsie. China announced to expand its defense budget by $224 billion or 7.2% up from last year as Beijing continues to modernize and strengthen its military forces. China currently holds the world's largest navy in terms of size and is expanding its fleet of nuclear submarines and stealth fighter jets. Talks about reunification with Taiwan were also on the table as China continued to oppose Taiwan's independence. Meanwhile, China's economic growth target of around 5% in 2023 is slightly below last year's budget of 5.5% as it seeks to revive the world's second-largest economy from its economically draining pandemic measures. According to Li Keqiang, the outgoing premier of the People's Republic of China, its economy is steadily recovering with large potential and momentum for further growth. China gross domestic growth, or GDP, and the military budget are two of the first events that are being watched closely where China's top political advisory body gathers yearly. Back to you, Elsie.
Thank you, Ruth Bahe, reporting live from Vietnam. At least 5 people were killed in a shootout between Azerbaijan troops and ethnic Armenians in Azerbaijan's contested region of Nagorno-Karabakh. The tension has increased as the only road connecting Karabakh to Armenia has been blocked since December 12 last year. Azerbaijan's defense ministry said 2 servicemen were killed. Meanwhile, Armenia's foreign ministry said 3 officials from the Karabakh Interior Ministry were killed. For more than 3 decades, Nagorno-Karabakh has been the focal point of 2 wars and has long been recognized internationally as part of Azerbaijan, though its residents are mostly ethnic Armenians. Azerbaijani President Ilham Aliyev and Armenian Prime Minister Nikol Pashinyan have met multiple times for peaceful resolution, but no agreement has been reached so far as violence continues to emerge. We'll share more global stories with you later, but for now, back to you, William.
Thank you, Elsie. For those watching our live streaming on YouTube, please click the subscribe button you see on your screen and ring the bell for notification. You may also follow us on Facebook. Experts project that it would take years to heal the impact of the oil slick in the biodiversity in Mindoro and nearby areas. It plays a vital role in the ecosystem, including different types of fish and other marine creatures. Ray Pelayo will tell us why.
The floating oil in the waters of Mindoro will surely affect the ecosystem in the area, according to Dr. Irene Rodriguez of the University of the Philippines Marine Science Institute or UPMSI.
Lahat ng tatamaan niya ng mga sperm or egg released by our marine organisms, lahat yon will lead to death, automatic. So mataas ang impact agad, regardless of what type of the oil.
UPMSI provides scientific information to the Department of Environment and Natural Resources, like the trajectory of the oil spill from the sunken oil tanker MT Princess Empress. Based on their estimate, more than 36,000 hectares of mangroves, coral reef, and seagrass will be affected. These are from 21 municipalities of Mindoro provinces, Palawan, and Antique. Dr. Rodriguez estimates that it will need a minimum of 3 to 5 years before an affected mangrove area recovers.
Ang pinaka maapektuhan kasi at ang pinaka deciding factor kasi dito will be the type of oil and then the duration of time that it will stay in that area. Okay? Kasi kung ma-penetrate yung soil, kung talagang yung mga toxic, kung whatever toxic compounds are carried or are contained by the oil itself, okay, if it stays in that environment, then that will influence kung the length or the duration that it will take for in this instance the mangroves to recover themselves.
The Oceana Philippines noted that the affected area is part of the Verde Island Passage.
Yung Verde Island Passage kasi is well known as the center of marine biodiversity. Kung ano pa, Amazon of the Seas siya. Siya yung pinakamaraming klase-klaseng isda at mga yamang dagat na nakikita sa kumpara sa buong mundo.
The DNR is now evaluating the cause of the impact of oil slicks in the area. Ray Pelayo, UNTV News and Rescue. We serve the people. We give glory to God.
The possible location of the sunken oil tanker MT Princess Empress has been detected by the ship of the National Mapping and Resources Information Authority, or NAMRIA, the BRP hydrographer Ventura. According to the statement of the Department of Environment and Natural Resources, or DENR, the vessel is at 1,200 feet or around 400 meters at the seabed. DENR believed that it moved southeast from the previous location it submerged. A remotely operated vehicle, or ROV, will be deployed if sea conditions permit. The information from the ROV will be shared with the UP Marine Science Institute for the update of the model of the trajectory of the oil spill. Meanwhile, the Department of Health reminds the residents in Oriental Mindoro about the health symptoms when exposed to an oil spill. Gladys Tawabi tells us why.
Residents in Oriental Mindoro might experience health symptoms when exposed to food or drink contaminated by oil. These include headache, vomiting, dizziness, coughing, and others.
But what we were so concerned about, syempre sa health po, unang-una yung mga nararamdaman na simptomas ng ating mga kababayan na malapit dun sa shoreline na apektado. Pangalawa, yung source of water and source of food nila.
In line with this, the Department of Health has warned residents not to drink or use the water, which is only 100 meters away from the shoreline affected by an oil spill. Fishing and eating of seafood from the affected waters are also prohibited.
More than that, yung tubig nila maaari naman gamitin pero kailangan din talaga mapakuluan din, ano? But for those 500 meters and more, we have declared na okay naman, you can use your water source, no? Pag yun lang talaga yung malapit, pati yung use ng mask nila, ni-regulate namin.
Meanwhile, wearing a face mask has already been regulated in the affected areas to help prevent symptoms caused by the oil spill incident.
Hanggang sa ngayon naman, hindi naman ganun kadami ang nakakaranas. Meron ho tayo nung isang araw na mga kababayan natin doon na nakaranas. May isa na na-aggravate yung kanyang hika, dinala sa ospital. But after a while, na-manage at naipauwi pa rin.
Health Officer in Charge Undersecretary Maria Rosario Vergere says foods and drinks have already been distributed to the affected residents. Undersecretary Vergere added that water testing has also been conducted to be able to check what further guidance needed to be implemented. Gladys Tuwabi, UNTV News and Rescue. We serve the people, we give glory to God.
With overwhelming votes, the House of Representatives approved on third and final reading resolution on both houses number 6 calling for a constitutional convention for charter change. A total of 301 House members voted in the affirmative, 6 voted in the negative, while 1 abstained. The proposed constitutional convention aims to amend the economic provisions under the 1987 Constitution. Solons, including House Speaker Martin Romualdez, said this would open the country to more foreign direct investors that would help in creating more jobs and income opportunities for the Filipino people. In other news, several jeepney drivers also held a protest in Monumento calling for the suspension of the Public Utility Vehicle or PUV modernization. They recommend that instead of a jeepney phase-out, the government should help in the rehabilitation of traditional jeepneys. Eileen Cerudo will tell us why.
Filipino workers would benefit from the rehabilitation of traditional jeepneys instead of implementing a phase-out. Robin Failon, Deputy General Secretary of Piston, said the government should support Filipino workers instead of large companies who would benefit from the jeepney phase-out. Failon is among the jeepney drivers who joined the nationwide transportation strike in Monumento, Caloocan.
Dahil pag i-rehabilitate mo yan, magluluwal sa ng isang trabaho. Mabubuhay yung mga mekaniko, mabubuhay yung mga talyer na gawa ng jeep, mabubuhay yung mga gawa, yung mga vulcanizing, upholstery, yung mga kainan sa tindahan.
Failon explained it would be challenging for drivers to pay for the modern jeepneys. Based on Piston's data, traditional jeepneys cost 200 to 600,000 pesos, while modern jeepneys cost 2.4 to 2.6 million pesos. Rehabilitating jeepneys, meanwhile, would only cost 900,000 pesos. Failon also lamented that the Land Transportation Franchising and Regulatory Board did not heed the recommendation of transport groups during their meetings. Malu Tukia, a political strategist, also shares the same sentiment. She explains that there has been a failure of negotiation which led to the transport strike. However, she assured that the issues can still be resolved.
Kausapin nila, ano yung mali doon sa programa? Gusto mo bang mas matagal pa? Diba? You have to reason out with them. Critical yung makita na may solusyon. Kasi kung ang solusyon mo umabot ka sa tigil pasada, may nangyari. Nagkaroon ng failure of negotiation.
May failure.
Meanwhile, more transport groups in Metro Manila and other parts of the country decided not to join the week-long nationwide transportation strike. Eileen Cerudo, UNTV News and Rescue. We serve the people. We give glory to God.
The House Committee on Ways and Means has created a technical working group to consolidate House bills seeking to penalize bulk cash smuggling into or out of the country. According to House Ways and Means Committee Chair Joey Salceda, the proposed bills will safeguard the country against dirty money and improve the credibility of the country's financial system. Salceda also said this would lower remittance costs for overseas Filipino workers, especially in Europe. Under the proposed bills, a person convicted of a currency smuggling offense shall be imprisoned for not less than 7 years and not more than 14 years. Several senators strongly condemned the series of killings against local government officials, with Negros Oriental Governor Roel Degamo as the latest victim, along with other civilians. For one lawmaker, the government should now wage an all-out war against gun-for-hire syndicates through the use of intelligence funds. Harleen Delgado will tell us why.
End the senseless killings. This was the call of senators to authorities as they demand justice for the killing of Negros Oriental Governor Roel Degamo and other individuals. 15 senators signed a resolution expressing the sense of the Senate strongly condemning the attack and urging the Philippine National Police to act swiftly on the series of killings against local government officials and civilians. Senate Majority Leader Joel Villanueva expressed alarm as 9 local government officials have been killed since July of last year. He adds the government should look into private armies in the country, noting that those who killed the governor carried high-caliber firearms.
Sampal ito sa pamahalaan. Sampal sa bawat isang government official gaya ko na walang habas at walang kahit katiting na takot sa ating pamahalaan. Katulad nung pumasok dun sa bahay ni Gov, bakit sila hindi natatakot? Baka may mga padrino. So, we have to do something. We have to do something. Kailangan parusahan to. Itong mga demonyong pumasok na to.
In light of the recent attacks, Villanueva says he and several other senators have increased their security measures, which include practicing target shooting.
It is imperative for leaders like us to look into and double check our security. Siyempre concern yun, no? Bata pa yung
Senate Deputy Minority Leader Risa Hontiveros also filed a resolution calling for an investigation into the series of political assassinations.
Unang mga buwan pa lang ng bagong administrasyon, mayroon ng 7 pagpatay at mga tangkang pagpaslang at karamihan ay ginagawa sa pampublikong lugar. Lubahang nakababahala rin ang mga pagpatay na ito dahil ang involved ay mga dating nasa uniformed service.
Degamo's party mate, Senator Cynthia Villar, describes the slain governor as a true friend. In today's session, Villar also revealed that Degamo had received death threats and encountered problems with his security years back.
He was a stalwart of the Nacionalista Party in Negros Oriental and a true friend of my family. We have discussed the danger on his life, and it finally came about. I even asked the help of a fellow senator with his problem when he was having problem with his police security years ago.
For his part, Senator Francis Cheese Escudero believes the government should now pursue an all-out war against gun-for-hire syndicates by using the intelligence funds. For Escudero, even if the perpetrators behind Degamo's killing will be arrested, there's no guarantee that the attacks will stop if criminals continue with their killing spree as business. The lawmaker proposed that the 5.2 billion pesos of intelligence funds be distributed across several agencies and should be tapped into creating an actionable database of killers. Senate President Juan Miguel Zubiri, along with other senators, will visit the wake of Degamo tomorrow, March 7. Harleen Delgado, UNTV News and Rescue. We serve the people. We give glory to God.
The Senate has approved on the third and final reading a bill seeking to ease the burden of loans of agrarian reform beneficiaries. 23 senators voted in favor of Senate Bill 1850, condoning the debt of agrarian reform beneficiaries arising from the award of agricultural lands under the Comprehensive Agrarian Reform Program. The measure will cover the condonation of over 52 billion pesos of principal debt of more than 610,000 beneficiaries tilling over 1.1 million hectares of agrarian reform lands. Once enacted into law, it will effectively write off 14 billion pesos of principal loan, including interests, penalties, and surcharges of more than 263,000 agrarian reform beneficiaries. The House of Representatives passed its counterpart bill last January. The measure is part of the wish list of President Ferdinand Marcos Jr. to Congress during his first State of the Nation address, or SONA.
A massive fire has blazed through a crowded refugee camp in southeastern Bangladesh, leaving 12,000 people homeless. The fire, which broke out on Sunday, burned at least 2,000 huts in the Kutupalong refugee camp in the Cox's Bazar district before it was brought under control. According to Police Superintendent Rafiqul Islam, senior officials from the fire, police, and refugee relief departments were present during the containment of the fire, and that there is currently no estimate for damages and no reports of casualties. The local police said the cause of the fire is still unknown. Regina de la Portilla of the UN Refugee Agency said the fire spread quickly as refugee camps are very cramped, with most of the shelters being made from bamboo and tarpaulin. Ms. Portilla added that it is not clear what the affected refugees will do for shelter. The camp is one of the 32 in Cox's Bazar where more than 1.2 million refugees leave after fleeing a military crackdown in Myanmar in 2017. And those are the reasons behind the news in other parts of the globe. I am Elsie Marcos, live from Auckland, New Zealand. Good evening.
Two more survivors and complaints who were with John Matthew and alias Diesel in the welcoming rites of Tau Gamma Phi fraternity on February 18 have contacted the Binyan City Police. The two are identified as alias Lee and alias Bin Laden. Yesterday, they gave their sworn statement to the Philippine National Police. The brushes and wounds they received are still on their thighs. According to the PNP, alias Lee and alias Bin Laden confirmed details previously collected by the authorities that will further strengthen the case. In the narrative of alias Lee, he identified all personalities involved and all present during the initiation. Alias Bin Laden, the youngest member of the group, was present during initiation until they buried John Matthew Salilig's body, although he was not allowed to get out of the vehicle when Salilig's body was disposed. Alias Bin Laden also saw they passed by their Grand Triskelian's house to get 3 shovels. They also stole a license plate from a vehicle they passed on the road and replaced the license plate of the Hyundai Tucson on their way to Cavite. PNP is also investigating the revelation of alias Bin Laden that another alias McGregor who ordered the group to pour gasoline and burn the victim's body. Currently, the PNP has arrested 7 people, 1 has killed himself, and 10 more are still being looked for. In other news, the Movie and Television Review and Classification Board, or MTRCB, rejects the inclusion of video games in its proposed expanded mandate. This as the Senate Committee on Public Information and Mass Media tackled a proposed measure seeking to expand the power and functions of the board to include regulation of video and online games and outdoor media. MTRCB Chairperson Lala Soto Antonio says they only have 30 board members who will do the job and are now swamped with numerous movie and television materials to review.
in order for the board members to rate just one game, they have to play the whole game. At ilang oras po ang i-google nila para lang makapaglaro ng game.
Meanwhile, Senator Robin Padilla, who chairs the committee, advises the youth not to forget their studies and to take care of themselves amid the rise of technology.
Matuto din sila sa homework nila at hygiene. Medyo wag naman yung kalimutan maligo, mag-toothbrush, yung mga anak, nako, hindi pa mahuan yan. Magaling nga kayo mag-gaming, mahu ka naman.
Our kasangbahay, as the world faces these trying times amid the pandemic caused by coronavirus, we are inviting everyone to join the global prayer for humanity from Monday to Friday, 9:30 p.m. Philippine time through the social media accounts of Members Church of God International. We'll leave you with a word giving glory to God from the book of Psalms chapter 145 verse 16. It says, "Thou openest thine hand and satisfiest the desire of every living thing." And those are the reasons behind the news, March 6, 2023, reasons we deliver to you as they unfold. And because we need to know, we will always ask why. I am William Theo. We serve the people. We give glory to God.